Hello guys and welcome back to my channel, and today I am giving you a team featuring Dialga. And as you can see, that is not the only crazy pick of Pokemon that I've chosen to run. Um, but nonetheless, for some reason, I managed to get this to top 500 on the PS Showdown ladder before drastically dropping again. But still, the fact that I got it that high just means it deserves a little bit of recognition. Do I recommend using this team for yourself? Absolutely not. It's crazy hard to actually manage, and Dialga, even though it does a lot of damage and can take hits, it's still not the best. But this is a team report. I will go through the mons step by step. Hopefully, I will not take too long. And yeah, the paste for the team will be in the description below. And for those who want to see how the team works, there should be a separate video coming up, which features, I think I have like 5 or 6 matches I can pick and show you. But we will see how many I choose to go with, how long it takes. But for now, the team report itself. And let's start with Dialga. This is the Dialga spread with we're running Adamant Orb, ability Telepathy, because pressure does absolutely nothing for us, and we have a Landorus with Earthquake. So it's very nice to just freely be able to click Earthquake next to Dialga. Max HP 28, special defense makes it so from full health, Dialga can take a hit from a +1 life orb Calyrex Shadow Rider, which uses Astral Barrage. So since that wasn't too much more investment in defense, I chose to actually run it. Modest nature for maximum damage output, and a moveset of Earth Power, Flash Cannon, Draco Meteor, and Protect. Yeah, as I said, easy to take a +1 Astral Barrage from Cali S with Life Orb. Doesn't say here. Dialga itself works very well into Kyogre. I think I played like 20 plus matches against different Kyogre teams, and I only lost once, which just shows it's very consistent, especially against Kyogre, which after the Players Cup Invitational has risen a lot in popularity, I think. It's a little bit weak into Classic Zacian because that +1 close combat usually just KOs, and it's not fast enough to actually be able to do damage to it before taking hits from Calyrex. No, Zacian itself. But that is also the reason why we have, for example, Gyarados and Landorus on the team with dual Intimidate to help it a little bit. But most of the times, Dialga actually doesn't come to those matchups against Zacian, which is a shame, but that's how the cookie crumbles sometimes. Adamant Orb is chosen to give extra boost in damage to Flash Cannon and Draco Meteor. With that Adamant Orb, Dialga can do at least 60 to 70% to most Pokemon that is not Fairy and is in Psychic. No, that is in what's it called? Misty Terrain. Which I think is very good, especially when you have a Volturn core with Landorus and Regieleki. And for the last point, no Trick Room. Yes, there is no Trick Room. Because when I tried building it, most Trick Room options requires something to set up Trick Room. And although Dialga can, I thought actually Earth Power would be or come more in handy to actually have something to hit fire types for damage. Although I could probably have, I have tried a little bit with Trick Room recently, which probably is better over Earth Power, just because it's a very slow team, barring Lando and Aleki. But the team that I've used with the most success, if I can even say that, is with Earth Power, to just not having to get the special attack drop into, say, for example, Regieleki if I want to one-shot it, or be able to do 50% to Incineroar without having to rely on an intimidated Gyarados or and Landorus, which are intimidated or either locked into a different move. So yeah, but I think actually with the coverage I have, Trick Room possibly is better. But we'll see. I will probably make this team into a rental at some point. I don't know if I will be able to do it in September because I'm still very much into The Witcher. So that takes up a lot of time. But at some point, because I think this is a cool team, I will probably make it a rental. We will see if I have Trick Room on there or not. So, next Pokemon is a Landorus Therian form with Choice Scarf, Intimidate. This spread is... I don't know if this is standard or not, but 196 speed with Naive Nature, which is minus special defense and up in speed. This makes it so we outspeed Calyrex Shadow Rider by 1 point. So I decided to put a little bit in HP and 4 in each defenses. Yes, the special defense is lowered, but this is not meant to actually take on Calyrex outside of, or when Calyrex is under Tailwind. So I figured special defense is probably better to have down than regular defense, especially since we run Earth Power and we want to have most damage output from Earth Power that is possible, together with U-Turn, Rock Slide, and EQ. As I said, EV to outspeed Calyrex Shadow Rider. When I have played, I have faced off against Entei in the sun, and for some reason the damage calculator says that Landorus should take an eruption. The times I played is just getting straight O code, so I'm not sure if I've inputted it correct in the damage calc, but according to the damage calculator, we actually should take an eruption in the sun from Entei. The same with the Sacred Fire, that we actually do live. The shame is it doesn't get an OHKO on Entei with either EQ or Earth Power, which is a little bit of shame, but we also have Gyarados for help. Especially though, seeing that Entei usually now is paired up with Groudon and Cherrim. It's nice to have dual Intimidate for the Groudon, and then double options to hit Entei. And also the Choice Skyfer is very nice into Sajian, just because it's one of the things we need to outspeed. Yes, if I had Trick Room, I could probably run this more bulky with another item, but I figured Cho Scarf actually was pretty nice, and it has won me a lot of games. And Earth Power is mainly here just because of Incin as this 2-hit KOs. I think even specially defensive Incineroar. So it's worth its slot. Then we have Amoonguss. Now Amoonguss, that core of Dialga, Lando, and Amoonguss was the one I have been using the whole time. I have tried different 6, but these 3 first is the ones that have been regular on every team. Amoonguss has Rocky Helmet, mainly for Urshifu Rapid Strike, and obviously Regenerator ability. Sassy Nature for min speed, Clear Smog, Grass Knot, Rage Powder, and Spore. There is no Protect because I wanted Grass Knot for Kyogre and I wanted Clear Smog for Xerneas because those are major threats when not handled properly. Given actually with what I have clicked the most on here, I would actually consider to drop Rage Powder for Protect. Just because I haven't clicked it too much. The spread is EV'd to be 3-hit KO'd by +2 max special attack Xerneas, so means timid, not modest. And as I said, Rocky Helmet for Urshifu Rapid Strike, which takes almost 50% in recoil from Rocky Helmet, which is insane. As I said, Grass Knot important for Kyogre and Clear Smog important for Xerneas. And when I built the team, as I just said, Protect is not here because Rage Powder and Spore was considered more important, but I haven't clicked Rage Powder too much, and I think Protect actually might have made this even better. So one could possibly think of going Protect over Rage Powder, but if I were to run Trick Room over Earth Power on Dialga, Rage Powder would be nice just to have the option to set up Trick Room safely. So yeah, this is just bulky Amoonguss. Very nice. I really like Smon. It has grown on me. Usually before I haven't managed to actually use it properly, but now I feel like it has come to its right. Then we have a pretty standard 252 Focus Sash Regieleki, Volt Switch, Thunderbolt, Electroweb, and Protect. This spread is standard, obviously. Very nice speed control, and a second option to hit Kyogre. I don't know if that is very necessary because Dialga takes basically nothing from Water Spouts, and Amoonguss does 50% at least, I think, to even bulky Kyogre. So I think if I were to switch out a team member, it would actually be Regieleki. But now it's here, and it does well because it's so insanely fast. And it gives also a very nice Volturn core with Lando, which chips away for Dialga to clean up, and especially with Draco Meteor, which, as I said, does a lot. I think, I don't know if that is specially defensive Amoonguss, but I have KO'd Amoonguss from like 60+% with Draco from Dialga. So don't underestimate it because it hits hard. Then we have Gyarados. I don't know if this EV spread I have done myself or have stolen from someone, but I think I have made most of it myself. This is an Assault Vest Gyarados with Intimidate. The speed I have adjusted to outspeed with 2 points, I think, or 4 speed EV Lunala. And it is also very specially defensive, but I don't think it can take Meteor Beam. I should have checked that actually beforehand, but I don't think it can take a +1 Meteor Beam from either Eternatus or Lunala. But we're rocking Power Whip, Waterfall, Stone Edge, and Crunch. The spread: Okos, Calyrex, Shadow Rider with Crunch. I think, as you can see, also AV makes the Life Orb boosted Expanding Force in Psychic Terrain. Max damage from Calyrex Shadow Rider is 50%. I think we took a Helping Hand boosted Choice Specs Astral Barrage from Calyrex Shadow Rider and still survived. And then Ocode back with Crunch. So this Gyarados, I think, is a little bit underestimated, but it has grown very in popularity, and I think Crunch you should expect on it at all times. Mainly if you use Calyrex Shadow Rider, you should be aware that this Pokemon is probably out to just snipe that right away. At least that's how I use it against Calyrex. It is also very nice into fire types or sun team in general. Yes, Waterfall is not as good in the sun as it is when it's not sunny, but given that Groudon usually, or I'm not sure how often they run a rock type attack, but Precipice Blade and Heat Crash is the most common ones. It gets intimidated, and Entei is probably more scary because that runs Stone Edge more often. Yeah, a second option for super effective hits into Entei and Groudon. Intimidate, as I said, also nice into Groudon. And it also, again, does very well into Kyogre matchup, barring no Thunder on Kyogre, because that would destroy Gyarados, obviously. And also given that the attacks connect, because as you can see, we have Power Whip, which is 85% accurate. We have also Stone Edge for something like Volcarona, because Waterfall will never OHKO in bulky Volcarona. We don't have a lot of attack investment, so that's Stone Edge, but still needs to hit. And now probably the interesting one. Spiritomb with Roselli Berry makes it so this actually can take a hit from a non-boosted Xerneas. Ability Infiltrator, which is very nice. It's just pure bulky. I don't remember what I put this to be, but I know it's to live a... I think this spread from a Calyrex Shadow Rider, which this Pokemon is mainly here for. If it is Helping Hand boosted and Life Orb, and Astral Barrage only have 31% chance to OHKO from full. Yeah, and we have the moveset is Sucker Punch, Will-O-Wisp, Burning Jealousy, and Snarl. This would have been the Trick Room mon if it got Trick Room, but it doesn't, which is a shame. The spread, yeah, let's see. Yeah, and even with no attack investment, Sucker Punch is an OHKO on Calyrex Shadow Rider. It takes a timid max special attack, Xerneas Moonblast. Neutral Zacian. It's very important that it is neutral because we have two Intimidators, so it should not be that hard. Emphasis on should. To get it to neutral. Both Beam Up Blade and Play Rough is not KOing, in which you can go for Will-O-Wisp and burn it back. And yeah, wanted a Dark type for Calyrex Shadow Rider, which is immune to Mienshao, because those are very common together. An Infiltrator is very nice for the possibility to Sucker Punch even through Substitute. And I have one of the recorded matches, or recorded, they are saved at least. I think that it happened like a couple of times when the opposition or the opponent go for Substitute because they know I have Sucker Punch, and then they forget Spiritomb gets Infiltrator as an ability, so it just straight up goes for Sucker through the sub, not breaking it, just like a sound-based move, like Snarl would also go straight through sub. There we go. And just OHKO it. I don't think Shadow Sneak actually OHKOs because Sucker Punch is just above it. I think it's 102 to 111 or 111%. So Shadow Sneak would not be a KO if I think correctly. And obviously other Pokemon cannot sub safely either, like Zacian. I think I said that already, yeah. But a good thing can't be said too often. So again, Zacian can't sub because it just gets burned. I also had one match I played which Zacian was switched in and I went for Burning Jealousy, and because Zacian gets an automatic +1 in attack when it switches in, Burning Jealousy actually burns it, which was very nice. And that is also the reason, or the main reason for the Burning Jealousy move is actually mainly just for the occasional Ferrothorn, because the rest of the squad does not have a single attack into Ferro that can actually hit it for super effective. So that's why I've thought about like switching something out for a fire type just to deal with that, and also fire is very nice against other steel types like Zacian. So I have thought about switching in Incineroar and put it somewhere here, but I have never done that too well. So I have tried a little bit where I switched Spiritomb for Incin, and I think I switched Gyarados for my Lodic. But yeah, I still think this is more fun, seeing that I use some Pokemon that nobody basically never uses. And as the last point says, otherwise Spiritomb, other than being the check to Calyrex Shadow Rider, is just here to lower special attack with Snarls and burn opponents. And it is especially good against Calyrex Ice Rider, because not everyone is running min speed, which means if they set up Trick Room, from time to time, Spiritomb actually outspeeds under Trick Room. So they set up Trick Room, and then Will-O-Wisp. Sparring again if it hits. So, matchup wise, Dialga is very nice into the mentioned Kyogre, Calyrex, Lunala, and basically every other dragon, because the dragons, yes, they have dragon type attacks into Dialga, but because it is steel type, it resists all the dragons and will OHKO back with a Draco Meteor. So, in a 1v1, Dialga wins against every dragon type. I'm pretty sure. I don't think. Not a single one. Maybe. No, I can't think of anyone. And also to some extent, Xerneas. Not if it gets boosted up. I think usually Dialga does 40-ish% to a boosted up Xerneas, which in my opinion is actually pretty good, given that it's +2 and pretty bulky. But yeah, and then matchups against Groudon, Zacian, and Zygarde isn't exactly. The Zygarde might actually be the one dragon that can beat the Alga, because or at least the one I faced, I would think more would run it that way. It was a Misty Seed variant with Tapu Fini, so Draco Meteor only did 51%, and I also think it was at -1. So technically, +1 Misty Terrain and -1 doing 50% to a Pokemon still is pretty good, but given that it's a Zygarde, which got a Dragon Dance boost up and got the Power Construct running, it wasn't good. And in matchups against like Zacian and Groudon, I usually don't bring it, because both Groudon and Zacian usually outspeed and straight up KOs, which is a shame. But still, I like this team. I was impressed with myself to manage to get it into the ladder. If you use it, don't expect to win too often. It's a very difficult team to pilot. I think I said that earlier, but I will say it again. Because it requires predictions, and if you lead wrong, you automatically lose. Almost every time. So I have had, like, when I started, I probably started in the 1300s with my main account, worked my way up slowly but steadily, and then managed to get into top 500 and then right back down again. So yeah, it's been a lot. It's been an elevator ride with this, but again, I will emphasize this: I like fun, and given that I can use Dialga, Spiritomb, and Gyarados, which is not that commonly used, I will accept the loss from now and then. But that's all from me. Now, the matches that shows how the team works will probably be up soon. And yeah, the paste, as I said, in the description for those who want to test it themselves. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.